As a dude who is fluent in both Korean and English, I feel like Korean is a very interesting language. And though this is not about the unique history of the language or anything of that sort, the reason I find Korean interesting is when compared to English, the degree of emotions it can carry is incredible. And what I mean by that is that a beautiful and a hopeful message will carry much more positivity in Korean than when the same message is delivered in English. And I'm sure if you're fluent in Korean and a different language you can compare it to, you probably would agree with me. Now this isn't always good, because essentially if you turn that positivity around and decide to express a negative message, the toxicity of your message will also become much stronger. And nowhere is this more evident than on the internet. Korea is currently at a war with toxic comments. Last year, after Korea lost Seolli, a singer/actress who has struggled with online toxic comments throughout almost her entire career, people called out for drastic measures to be taken so that toxic comments could disappear. One of the methods proposed by the vast amount of internet users was enforcing the usage of real names on the internet. By getting rid of anonymity on the internet, it would be much less likely for people to make comments that might be embarrassing to write if it wasn't for them being secured under their nicknames. Now this might just sound like a method that seems impossible for some of you living in different countries, but digging just a little bit into Korea, you would find that this is almost entirely possible here. Back in the days when President Park Chung-hee was in power, the aftermath of the Korean War was still well observable on the Korean peninsula, and there were more conflicts between the two sibling Koreas. One of the more famous conflicts was the attempted assassination of President Park by North Korean spies dressed up as South Korean soldiers. Although this attempt went to a complete failure, the South Korean government sought for a way to identify their citizens so that at times of emergency, spies can be detected quickly. So the government started giving out 12-digit resident registration numbers given to each and every citizen of the country. Currently, it has turned into a 13-digit number, and all citizens, and I mean all citizens, have this number. And without this number, you can't do anything in Korea. You can't get a phone, you can't open a bank account, you can't get a job, and you cannot make IDs on most of the websites on the internet. Because when you register for most of the websites, you have to verify your identity. Yes, so essentially the government can enforce this just by mandating website operating companies like Naver or Kakao to abandon nicknames and replace it with the user's real names. Of course, this does seem a little bit too extreme and bureaucratic, but this led a few congressmen of the National Assembly of Korea to try and pass a law called the Seolli Law. The law basically mandates internet users' IP addresses and full IDs be revealed with their comments. This obviously strips away a bit of the secure feeling of hiding under a full undetectable nickname, but such methods can obviously have drastic side effects. For example, some internet users might be tracked down and harmed for God knows whoever reasons, which really isn't the purpose of this policy. And so while a lot of people do agree with the passing of this law, a good amount of people also voice their opposition against it, expressing their worries of the side effects. But even if they decide to pass this law, the entire process is going to take a while. So regardless of the government, some of the big internet companies have stepped up to block hate comments and prevent future victims like Seolli. Here's Naver. Founded in 1999, it is noted as Korea's Google. From being the Koreans' favorite search engine, email, online news, to even webtoons, messenger apps, camera apps, and even offline character shops, it has it all. It is also the test ground of various measures taken to stop hate comments, and that's without any government intervention. Naver has taken two notable steps in their campaign. The first was simple. They just got rid of the entire comment section on celebrity news. You can still leave comments everywhere else but on celebrity news, which I mean isn't the most innovative way, but it's still something that works because this was the biggest online community for people to receive news and the safest place to leave your hate comments because Naver even made sure other users couldn't see your full nickname. Being anonymous here was taken very seriously. The second step was more interesting, and I think they probably thought about this for a while. But before we get into the details, one thing you have to know about Korea is that in Korea it's very unlikely for people to say negative things up front because of various reasons related to the complex culture of this 5,000-year-old nation. And I'm sure you guys have heard of the phrase losing face. And just note that not losing face is taken very seriously in this culture, but I mean so much so that losing face exists on the internet too. And that's even if you're anonymous. For example, let's let's say that you really don't like this one celebrity, and you go around spamming every article about him with hate comments that you try to logically present, or maybe you pretend like you're that celebrity's former supporter who has now turned away from him with disappointment. And sometimes internet tactics like this work, but what if someone could click on your ID and simply see all the previous comments that you have made? Then you're probably not going to persuade anyone because people realize that you're just a big troll. And that's what Naver did. They enforced a change onto their website to make it possible for other users to see your previous comments. If you're truthful about your comments, you shouldn't have any problems. But if you're leaving immature and toxic comments with the purpose of swaying other people, nobody is probably going to support your claim on anything. Hence, you losing face. It's like forming a new identity on the internet that you really don't want to reveal to other people. Securing your right to remain anonymous on the internet, but still making sure you fear losing face online. And I mean, Naver's new policy has already caught some people off guard. Recently, an actor named Jung Jun made an Instagram post publicly supporting the current left-wing president Moon Jae-in. In return, the post attracted a lot of extreme right-wing internet users who have left comments criticizing the actor. Jung announced that he will sue these commenters. And this is about the time Naver launched their new campaign. And internet users started digging up comments Jung made on various articles related to the Conservative Party. And obviously these are not the most constructive comments. As a return, Jung lost his face and announced that he will cancel his lawsuits against the internet users who left hateful comments. And I mean, all the smart people out there probably already noticed, but this entire Naver mechanism is very simple. It's like how on Facebook, where you have personal information and pictures attached, you'll see less, and I mean only in comparison, less extremely vulgar or negative comments, whereas on platforms like Twitter, which a lot of users use with full anonymous mode on, it's easier to find something more extreme. Like I've mentioned in the earlier part of the video, I think a message delivered in Korean can saturate more emotions into it than other languages. So hopefully with Korean IT companies, governments, and society working together to find a way to stop toxic comments, there will be an increase in the spread of positive vibes online than before. So what do you guys think? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you found this interesting or answered some of your questions, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more. Until then, see you next time guys.